They say this is a big rich town. Yeah. I just come from the coldest part. All right, let's get into it. Let's review the last episode of Powerbook Ghost. Now, before we do that, I got to talk about some stuff in the beginning. Now, if you go back a season, not a season, my fault, a series, you go to Power. Power, this man Ghost was everything he did, it made sense. But towards the end of the series, he started acting very out of character, in my opinion. It's one thing for him to be like, oh, I'm in love, and he risked everything because he was in love with Angela. But now it's like, okay, you're like, now you're acting all high and mighty now. He was like, oh, stop selling drugs. Like that was not, that wasn't how he was acting before. Like I said, that was a completely different person he was acting like. And it was goofy how they did it. Now, he did all that, like I said, for Angela. Tariq, I can't. First off, you know me, I hate Tariq's character, especially then. I still don't like him now, and it didn't change. It wasn't like, oh, he's actually, then I'll think about. No, he's because when you sit there and think about it, he was a spoiled rich kid that wanted to be in the game, and then they made it seem like in season 2 that he was forced to do it after his dad, even though he killed his dad. They made it seem like he was forced to do it. He had to do it. He just had to start selling drugs. He didn't have to. He had to start selling drugs in order to get money. When the whole thing of this was your parent or your mom and family are now in protective custody, and you have to get them out. That's the whole thing. You have to get them out. So now it's at the point now you're trying to do anything and everything to get them out, and so you go back to drug dealing, and you're in this college. You're doing that. Remember, professors have died, different people have died, messing with Tariq. They don't know Tariq, you die. Now, let's get into this final conclusion. Now, in the beginning of season, I keep saying season, that the series Powerbook 2 Ghost, they make it seem like the Tejadas are the big bads. If they kept going that route, it would have been cool. Because it was like, okay, I don't mess with Monet, but I gotta help her in this every now and then. I gotta deal with this. We deal with the cops. They work together every now and then. It made sense. I don't like Kane, but I got to deal with him. Isn't it like that whole story was cool? The whole story was cool how they did it. Now, they randomly threw Noma in there as the new big bad, which, in my opinion, in the beginning, she was a cool big bad. She was very calm, collective. She seemed heartless. Everything she did, she was just killing people. Then they introduced a daughter in there, and then she started making weird decisions with the people she was dating. Like, she was messing with Kane at one point, messing with Davis at one point, and it just got really... Her character got really convoluted, in my opinion. It didn't... She was very, very hypocritical, stuff, the moves she was making. So now let's go back. So you got Kane, who always hated Tariq. Again, this made sense, but then they turned him into this lover boy. I don't know. It just, everybody's moves made. By the time it got to the end of the show, everybody was completely different, and it's not like a completely different. Like as it evolved, it just was hypocritical to their actions. Everything they did just didn't make sense. Every move just did not make sense whatsoever. So Tariq, like I said, I can't stand Tariq. Tariq is a hypocrite. He was a hypocrite from the beginning. His whole thing in the show was, I have to sell drugs. I have to do it because, no, you don't. You don't have to do it. When your sister died, you should have stopped that, honestly. Then it got to the point where your mother and your other, I think the grandma, and I think the other sister, if I remember, I feel like they had another sister. Like I said, that's been so long ago, I can't remember if they had another sister or not. But the rest of your family, just say your family is in protective custody now, and all you got to do is get right. Because at the end of the day, you were trying to get your family back and get your inheritance from your dad, from your late father. And so we get to the point where, like I said, we're into this final season, which the cops are making you do different stuff. You're forcing you to do stuff like, kill people, rob people, do all this other stuff. And for example, they arrested Drew, the one brother from the Tejadas, had him doing stuff, trying to murder somebody, which made no sense how he did it, because it got to the point where you try to murder somebody and you did it. You succeeded, but it didn't make sense how you did it because for some reason there was no guards in the hospital unit, in the jail hospital unit, which that wouldn't work like that. If you're in jail, there's still guards there too. They wouldn't just be like, oh, we're gonna hold it off right here. No, they would still be guards there, and you were able to kill them, and everyone's like, oh, I wonder what happened here. Like, no, that wouldn't go down like that. As it was happening, I said, this is goofy. So that didn't make sense. Then you had Diana, who was forced to do a murder for, I forget the girl's name that was in the police like the police force, like the dirty police force. She was supposed to kill this one guy. I forget his name, Zion. She was supposed to kill Zion. She didn't do it because what's his name? Michael Ealy's character, Carter. He told the lady cop to kill Zion. Instead of her doing it, she says, I'm going to make this college student do it. Which like Diana, who never put no work. She's always against it. She don't know what she's doing. So she was like, hey, I'm going to make her do it. Doesn't know she's pregnant, even though the signs are completely there. You can see it. I'm going to make her kill it. So she's like, I'm not a killer. I'm going to make Tariq and them do it. Tariq and them do it. They get seen on camera. And that's used as leverage for Carter. So she gets mad and says, why didn't you do it? Which doesn't make sense. They could have just made it seem like, okay, I'm going to make you do it. And then for some reason they dropped the ball. And then it's like, oh, you didn't do it. Someone said, I told you to kill him and you can do it. And so you didn't do it and you got away. Then she stomped her out and lost the baby. That would have made more sense. But she was like, I told you to do something. You didn't do it. You didn't do it either. Hypocrite. Hypocrite. So then you stomp her out, which kills her baby. So then she kills you. And so she kills her and it's like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. Because she killed an evil, dirty cop. And the innocent child has to suffer because of this. Now remember I said that. Because later on, when they have to catch Noma, for killing Monet. They want to go kill Noma now. So instead of her killing Noma when she had the open shot, she shot Noma's daughter in the back. They shot Noma's daughter, and Noma was like, when they had the open shot, there was no security around, none of that stuff. They could have easily shot her. She's like, I wanted to feel the pain I felt. So now you want to kill. So now, before 2 episodes, it was like 2-3 episodes ago, you were just crying and you were just contemplating life and how everything. You didn't know you want to go to school anymore because you killed a dirty cop and an innocent kid had to suffer for it. Now all of a sudden, you kill an innocent woman to get back at a dirty person. Tell me how that makes sense. And you're fine with that. Because even Tariq was like, bro, you tripping. And she was like, oh, no, she had to get it. She had to suffer. What? That makes no sense. It's dumb. Then we got to, who else is there that we got to talk about? So Cain flipped. So he said, forget the whole family. I'm going to try to marry Noma to try to make sure she gets, she gets citizenship. They go through the plan, find out Noma's evil, and he's like, you know what? No, he gets, she's like, you got to pick a side. And she's like, he's like, oh no, I'm gonna pick my mom. The mom hears this, she goes out shooting, guns blazing, dies like that, dies for everybody. And they're like, oh my goodness, mom, why? So she dies. They try to get Noma. Now Cain's part of it, which so Cain's like, I gotta get her back. So Cain says, hey guys, I'm gonna get her. Take care of yourselves. Blah blah blah. This and this. So he pops Noma in front of all these police. I thought what would have been better is if he killed Noma, and then Power. They just instead of just shooting at him, they're like, hey, get on the ground now, get around. He gets arrested, and then since Carter, because Carter got caught with the for killing, what's his name, for killing Tate, and he was like, oh, they sent him to jail, which I saw that coming. I just thought it was dumb how they did because I thought they were going to do something with the wife portion of it because they made it seem like they was going to do something. He was like, oh, why he's obsessed with his wife. I thought it was going to be like maybe a twist that he killed his wife or something like that. We got nothing out of that. That was just an unnecessary plot point. So then he gets arrested. Like I said, he gets arrested. He gets taken to jail. That's all that happens to Carter. I thought more was going to happen to him. I thought Cain was going to get arrested. I thought Cain was going to get arrested after he shot Noma, go to the same jail as him, and then he kills Carter, which would have been a better ending than what we got from him. I don't know if they're trying to tease him like they're going to do another show with him, because they had that hashtag power never ends, so we could have got a new show out of him or Effie, and I was just like, this is dumb. So then we get to the next point. The next point is, what's his name? What is that boy's name? Braden. So like I said, after Kane kills Noma, he goes, like, he's on the run now. Effie's like, you know what? Here's the money I saved, which was another, like, ugh, I didn't like that either. She's like, this is money I was saving for college, because she just said she's gonna be out the game. Here you go. I can make it all again. So now you're back in the drug game again. So Braden, they had a whole coke storyline, and had a storyline with that girl that he was so in love with. She was like, I don't ever want to see you again. That was it. I thought there was gonna be more to it. I thought he was gonna try to get back in. She's like, what did I tell you? There's gonna be more to that. They just kind of just deaded that storyline. The coke story, we don't know nothing about that. He came to the thing, doing coke and messed that up. But then he was just like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna try to help out Tariq. And then it gets to the point where with him, he's just kind of like Tariq's underling at this point, because now Tariq is like, you know what? Even though, again, like I said in the beginning, he said, you know what? I'm trying to do this all to save my family, get them out of there, and that way we can be together again to get this money. He has a chance to say, he has a chance to get out the game. His mom's like, hey, you could have a chance to get out. We good? He's like, I'm like, you're good. I'm not gonna be with y'all because I can't be a drug lord and be with y'all at the same time. Which, in my opinion, there's a point in there after Noma and Carter are taken care of. Everybody's out now. That was the only ties they had left. The only people that wouldn't technically be able to get out was Kane, because he killed Noma in front of all the police. But the rest of them are out. The rest of them are saved. So you got Drew, who ends up doing the right thing. He goes to Paris. He's like, I'm about to do art. He's like, I'm getting up out of here. Smart. Good ending for him. I mean, even though it's sad, your mom died, your dad died, your cousin brother died. Y'all call him your cousin brother. Your cousin brother died, and you out the game. Okay, so he's good. Then you got Diana. Like I said, I'm going through everybody's real quick. So you got Diana, who, like I said, dumb decision how they did her. Like I said, her position made no sense. So you got her, who's like, you gonna be leaving with, so you gonna stay here? And he's like, no, I'm leaving. I'm going to Paris. I'm going to Paris. And she's like, what? I'm gonna stay here then. So we don't know if she's gonna be in college or whatever she's gonna do, or start drug dealing, because the way she walked to the head of the table, it felt like, to me, it symbolized she was gonna take over. You might have seen something different, but that's how I took it. That she was just looking around. She's at the head of the table. She was looking around. I was like, oh, she's definitely gonna start selling drugs now. She has no instincts. She makes dumb decisions. She can't fight. She can't shoot a gun. It's like she can't. The only time she was able to shoot a gun was when she was able to kill the daughter, who had nothing to do with nothing. Killed her. So then we got who else we got? We got Braden, who, from what we know, is coked out. Is a liability at this point. Who technically, his parents cut him off. They're done with him, and he's pretty much Tariq's punk, because Tariq was like, listen, you mess up again, I'm done with you. You know what I'm saying? You get one more mess up, and that's it. You're not working with me, you're working for me now. And he's like, okay. And that was it for him. That's literally how it was. He was like, okay, I guess. And then he walked away with a little attitude. And that's how the show ended for him. Then you got Effie, who was trying to make something out of herself, because she sat there and said, I'm done with all this. And she just said this maybe 3 or 4 scenes before this, said, I'm done with all this. I'm not going back trying to kill this person. Never ending cycle, which makes sense, because you killed them, you gotta hide it. So you gotta kill them, you gotta hide the fact that you killed them. You gotta do another person who somehow saw you hiding this. And then it's like, oh, it's a never ending cycle. So she made the right choice. And then it turned to, hey, Kane then killed Noma. Oh my goodness, what are we gonna do now? She's like, just take all the money I got. I'll go back to drug dealing, man. It's like, I can make that money again. So it's like, okay, well, you're back into it now. You had a chance to get out. And, what I'm saying? That should have been like, hey, that's your problem. I'll pray for you, give him a last little kiss, and send him on his way. Give him a couple bucks. But no, you gave him all your money. And he was like, what? Even he was like, what? And she was like, hey, I can make it again. Dumb. So that's a bad ending for her. When she could have got out. Like I said, everybody could have got out at this point. Then you got Who else? Like I said, Tariq could have got out. Somehow now he finds a new boss, which is Noma's brother. And he's like, look, I can do it. I can do school, do all that stuff, and I'll be like a ghost. I ain't gonna tell you what's going on, what I'm gonna plan on doing, but I'm gonna be like a ghost. Which, I guess it's trying to be a cool way to say he is like his dad. But no, it's not a cool way, because you just sat there when you had a chance to get out, you didn't. You said, I'm gonna so you had a chance to get your family back. You can't get your family now, because now you sit there and say, oh, you choose between the drug life or your family. You chose the drug life. Dumb. You're a bad person. Dumb. Then you got Davis, because he also said, I got someone working for me. I got someone on the financial end of things. We see Davis, who Davis just got all the Tejadas free. Got all the Tejadas off. He got his license back. Why are you being the financial person for the drug game now? Why? You also had a way to get out too. You're dumb too. Like, why is everybody dumb in this world? Then you got, who else we got in here? I'm trying to think who else we missing. Let's see. I feel like we got everybody. Kane's on the run. Tariq's decided to be a drug lord again. Try to be like a silent drug lord now, but you make dumb decisions too. Diana's possibly a drug lord. Drew went to Paris. Who else we missing? Like I said, Effie pretty much gave up her college life to sell some more drugs for a little bit longer. She's never getting out. I think that's everybody. Like I said, with Carter being arrested, it's everybody. I mean, we got Lauren, we never saw again. We never saw her again. They just kind of wrapped her story up. We don't know nothing about what's going to happen with the FBI agent that got popped in the middle of the garage. But they just kind of never mentioned him again. What's his name? Salim, the woke brother. They just popped him. He just stinking in his house somewhere. So he died. At least we don't get to see the light skinned Keisha rap anymore. That's good. And like I said, Monet died. Yeah, I guess that's to wrap it up. I think it was a bad ending. I think they just could have. Everybody had a chance to get that happy ending. Everybody had that chance to be able to get out. And it just made dumb move after dumb move. And it felt like they were trying to wrap the show up. And they could have wrapped it up to where everybody had a happy ending. Everybody was out. Maybe you can have them somehow bring them back if you bring a new show. Because it seems like they're bringing a new show in there. Because they had hashtag Power Never Ends. And you had that call. He's like, hey, the end. He's like, yeah, what's going on? And it's like, huh? So at that point, it's like, okay, so we got a new show coming. But are we going to follow it from, Tariq's point of view? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? So it seems like it's going to be either Effie or Kane. And it could make sense with either one. But I'm not going to lie, I don't want it. I didn't really like Power 2. It just felt like I just had to watch it to see what's going to happen next, the continuance of it. But I'm like, this isn't good. It's not a good ending. It's not a good ending. It's one of those things where it's like they could have ended it. They could have ended it better. There's still loose ends, still a bunch of things that that didn't make sense. I just can't think of them all right now because I literally just finished Power 2, and it's just like the moves y'all made just made literally no sense. Everybody had a chance to leave. Everybody at one point in the show wanted to get out the game. The only people I can really think of that didn't want to get out was Kane and Monet. But everybody else had a point where they were out the game or wanted to get out the game, and did not. And it was a bad ending. That's the only way I can really explain it. It was just a bad ending. I wanted to like this season. I keep on saying season 2. The series, the second chapter. It just ended bad. They did it wrong, and I really wish I could have been in the writing room with them to tell them different things they could have did to make the show better, to write off certain people, to do certain things if we're going to just throw people away like they're nothing because it's the final season. But it just felt like y'all were just trying to rush end it, and it didn't make sense. People were acting out of character, just like y'all did the first Ghost. And everybody wanted Ghost to come back. I'm glad we didn't have that. That would have been so dumb. That really would have took me out the thing. If he came back as a ghost, I would have been mad. And if he came back alive somehow, I would have been mad too as well. And I just don't like what they did with this final episode. The fact that he was really out and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna give up. Even though the beginning of this whole series was about me trying to get my family back, I'm gonna say forget them. I'm gonna stay a drug dealer. I can't do both. So you can't do both, then stop drug dealing. You just sat there so you risked your life and you're not trying to hurt nobody. When everybody told you the entire series, you're acting just like your dad, and everybody you deal with ends up dying. And that's what happened. Everybody end up dying or had a bad ending with them. Had something bad, like, said their life when the sham was after that. And that's what happened here. And even the lawyer who sat there was, I know he was a dirty lawyer, but at the same time, it's like, bro, you had a chance to get out too. Because you didn't want to be a drug dealer. At one point, you said you didn't want to be a drug dealer either. But you got sucked in. You even caught a body for all this. I don't know. It was just a bad ending. It was really a bad ending. And they could have went a different direction with this. But yeah, that's all I got to say on that. I don't know if I have anything else. I'm trying to think, is there any other characters that I'm missing? And I'm not thinking I'm missing any. And if they are, then they probably weren't relevant enough for me to even think about. But yeah, they messed it up. They dropped the ball on this one. And if we get another show, which I know they're going to do, because like I said, they said power never ends. We're going to get chapter 18, the story of Ghost baby, Ghostface Killer baby, Ghost Jr., Little Ghost, Baby Ghost. It's going to be the son. Like, it's gonna never end. And I'm tapped out, man. Come on, we can end this. I know you stopped the Tommy show and you're stopping this show. We don't need a whole nother show with a whole nother, they're trying to open up to be open-ended. Okay, we could do a whole nother show we want to. Just don't. This show ended bad. All the shows have been ending bad. I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm speaking for the people. We don't want it. But I'm going to end it right there. Hopefully they stop this.